Okay, so if you're thinking about a nice camera, a mirrorless camera, something small for a top-down shot for YouTube and content creation, there's a number of options out there in the Canon lineup. PowerShot G3 is a good option, as well as the M50. What I'm going to do right now for you is a side-by-side comparison, and we're going to see which one is actually better for you. So looking at this, I've got the Canon PowerShot G3. Apparently all the massive YouTubers, great people, use this camera. You can see the price there, and you can see it has an articulating screen which tilts. It's not articulating, so it's not full 360. And the M50 you're familiar with because I've done a couple of comparisons on that already. So firstly, the G3 was released in 2015. The M50 was released in 2018. So there's a couple of years difference there of when they came out. So what else is a big difference? The G3 has a magnesium alloy body. So what they mean by that is the camera itself, the body, is a bit more designed for durability. Magnesium alloy means it's like a metal, whereas the normal M50 is made of like a plastic type material, a composite. So that's something to consider. So looking at the resolutions there, the M50 is going to have slightly more megapixels because it does a bigger photo. We'll find out how much more here. Okay, so the G3 has 20 megapixels and the M50 has 24 megapixels. Let's carry on looking. The Digic 8 processor on the M50 versus the Digic 6 on the G3. What we mean by a Digic processor is basically how the camera handles high ISO images. So if you've got a dark environment and you boost up the ISO to make it a bit brighter, how it handles that, as well as autofocusing and the camera modes for video. The processor handles that. So there's a couple of differences there in generation. One's got an 8 and one's got a 6. Going down that lineup, what else? I like to look at a few key things which we're going to check. Okay, so we've got a 2.8 to f6 aperture, and it seems like the G3 does have a fixed lens. I'm assuming based on here what we've got. That's right, yeah. Okay, so addition to that, how many photos? One's a tilting screen. The M50 has a fully articulating screen. What else have we got? What else? Okay, so the PowerShot G3, if you take photographs, you'll get 5.9 photos per second. That's referring to if you do like someone's running past and you took photographs. It'll take about roughly 5.9, which is about 6 photos every second for the G3. The M50 actually takes 10. So yeah, that's a bit better for photos, that is. Mode in video, the M50 will do a 4K in 24 frames a second. So if you're making content creation, at some point you're going to get 4K video on YouTube, and it might be worth getting a camera that can do that, so you'd have to buy a new camera at a later point. Right now on the PowerShot G3, I'm not seeing any video modes. This makes me question if it takes video. We will find that out because I'm going to let you know right now by doing a quick little search. And let's see. Video. Does it do video? It should do. I'm sure it does. But for some reason, DP review doesn't tell me whether the pics HD or 4K. It's probably 1080p. Video 1080. Does it do 1080? GX 1080p full HD review image. Okay, 60 frames a second in 1080p. Is that the same model though? G3 X. Is that the same one I was looking at? G3 X. Yeah, okay. So you get 1080p at 60 frames a second, which is adequate. That's still perfectly fine. But that was a nice little comparison there for you to look at a few cameras if you're thinking about buying them, especially for YouTube purposes or making content online. That's a quick video there. There's a few more comparisons I've done. You can select here and see that, and I'll see you on that next video.